In the deeply conservative Southern world she grew up in, that was shocking. She had been raised in a strict church where movies and television were rarely allowed. As a child, she looked like the perfect Southern girl. Blonde hair and pigtails, polite and well-behaved. But inside, she felt different. The tattoos became a way to show the world she wasn't going to follow the rules others had made for her. Over the years, she collected around 20 tattoos, each one expressing part of her identity. She turned her body into a canvas that defied every expectation she was raised with. When she finally made it to Hollywood in the 1990s, she only had $71 to her name. She had just come from New York, where she'd been bartending in the club scene and doing anything she could to stay afloat. In Los Angeles, things didn't get any easier. She crashed on friends' floors and took whatever jobs she could find. She even did voiceover work for a dial-in song service to make rent. Acting wasn't a dream she'd been chasing all her life. It was something she stumbled into while trying to survive, and she leaned into it only because her original plan of working in criminology couldn't pay the bills. During one of her lowest moments, she walked dogs along Sunset Boulevard for just $5 a day. It didn't seem like much, but it led to something special. One of those dogs, a pit bull she rescued off the street, became her beloved Cece. That dog wasn't just a pet, it was part of her story. Years later, when she clashed with a co-star over his aggressive dog, the connection to Cece gave that incident even more weight. Her love for animals began on those walks and became a permanent part of her life. She has supported countless animal rescue organizations since then. Her first break in television came not through auditions or agents, but by overhearing someone talk in a coffee shop. She was sitting nearby when she caught wind of a casting call for The Drew Carey Show. That single moment led to her landing a role as an extra named Darcy, which she played in 4 episodes over 2 years. From there, she slowly began building her resume. She landed parts on shows like Frasier and Murder One, and each one brought her a little closer to her big break. That overheard conversation was the turning point. In the year 2000, she made a small appearance in the movie Almost Famous, playing a radio DJ named Alice Wisdom. It wasn't a huge role, but it gave her the chance to work with actors like Philip Seymour Hoffman and director Cameron Crowe. A few years earlier, she had starred in a small drama called The Price of Kissing. These roles weren't blockbuster hits, but they helped her grow as an actress. Even though Almost Famous didn't make much money at the box office, it became a cult favorite. Her presence in those films showed she had range and talent long before NCIS made her famous. In 2003, Pauley Perrette walked into the audition room dressed in baggy Levi's, sneakers, and a plain white t-shirt. She was a natural blonde, nothing like the gothic character she would soon be known for. But the moment she entered, Don Belisario reportedly said, "That's her." Her friend Kevin Lawson later confirmed that Perrette didn't even need to try hard. Her caffeinated energy, fast-talking warmth, and love for hugs were enough. Abby Sciuto wasn't a role she played. It was a part of her natural self. Her caffeinated energy, fast-talking warmth, and love for hugs weren't scripted. It was just Pauley being Pauley. And that moment changed everything. Abby didn't just join the team. She became the team's heart. Although there's no official CBS data comparing her popularity to other characters, fans made it clear. Viewers loved Abby. She became a fan favorite, and her role quickly grew beyond expectations. Writers noticed the connection and kept expanding her screen time. By the time she left in 2018, she had appeared in every episode since the show's beginning. No one else on the cast had that kind of run. On set, one small stuffed toy caused more chaos than any actor ever could. It was Bert the Farting Hippo. a purple stuffed animal that made fart sounds when squeezed. What started as a background prop turned into a set legend. Cast and crew fought to keep it. The producers eventually had to lock it away to stop people from taking it home. Bert showed up in episode after episode, offering comic relief in the darkest scenes. It wasn't merchandise that made Abby iconic. It was quirky touches like this that became unforgettable. Behind the scenes, Perrette took Abby's job as a forensic scientist seriously. When the third episode, Sea Dog, aired in October 2003, it was clear Abby knew her stuff. But that wasn't by accident. Perrette worked with real forensic experts and learned the science herself. She studied DNA analysis, ballistics, and lab protocol, all to make the role feel real. She didn't just memorize lines. She understood what they meant. That made Abby more than a TV character. She felt like someone who could walk into a real NCIS lab and get to work. Pauley Perrette's heart wasn't just in the role. She poured herself into causes that mattered. One of those was helping veterans. She worked with American Humane's Pups for Patriots program, which pairs service dogs with veterans suffering from PTSD and traumatic brain injuries. These dogs can cost up to $30,000 each to train. But Perrette believed in the mission and did what she could to help. The program has paired more than 160 veterans with trained dogs, giving them not just support, but dignity. It mirrored Abby's own deep respect for service members on the show. The show's popularity exploded during the Season 7 finale. That one episode pulled in over 20 million viewers in the United States. It was a major moment for NCIS. The crime drama even beat American Idol's ratings that year. The show gained 25% in the 18 to 49 age group from the previous season. It jumped from 14.9 million to 17.6 million total viewers year over year. This wasn't just another finale. It was the moment NCIS became the #1 scripted drama in America, and stayed there. One of the oddest but most effective marketing wins came from Abby's signature drink, Calf Pow. It started out as a design idea. Originally, it was supposed to be caffeine pills. But producers didn't want Abby popping pills on screen, so they turned it into a bright red energy drink. And that red cup became iconic. 7-Eleven jumped on the idea and ran a promotion that led to a 14% boost in energy drink sales across the country. They even made holiday-themed Calf Pow cups. What most fans didn't know was that Pauley Perrette never drank it. Her cups were filled with cranberry juice. Perrette never asked for a body double, even in scenes that made her physically uncomfortable. She suffered from severe claustrophobia, but still filmed inside tight morgue sets without help. One episode, Bête Noire, required her to face those fears in a major hostage scene. She didn't flinch. She kept going, even when the set made her feel like she couldn't breathe. The show called it necrophobia, but for her, it wasn't about dead bodies. It was about the walls closing in. And yet, she stayed in character. For 15 years, she never let fear compromise her performance. In secret, Perrette also created a webcomic during her time on NCIS. She used the name P and published a series called Lab Babble, all about Abby's lab adventures. At first, no one knew it was her. The comic had Abby's humor, her science, and even featured Bert the Hippo. Eventually, fans figured it out. But the most surprising part wasn't the comic. It was where the money went. Every cent in ad revenue was donated to animal shelters across the country. It was a quiet act of charity that no one asked for, but she did it anyway. In 2011, Guinness World Records gave Perrette a title that no one had ever won before. She was named the most popular TV crime drama actress. This wasn't based on ratings alone. It came from something called the Q score, which measured how much viewers liked her personally. Not just the character, her. She beat out actresses from shows like CSI and Law & Order. At the time, NCIS was averaging more than 18 million viewers per episode. But what made her stand out wasn't just the goth look or science jargon. It was how she made people care. In October 2016, everything changed on the NCIS set. Mark Harmon brought his rescue pit bull, Dave, just like he had for years without trouble. But that day, something went horribly wrong. The dog bit a crew member so badly that the person needed 15 stitches. The attack was serious enough to shut down production for 2 hours. It wasn't just a quick scare. The injury left deep physical wounds and emotional damage. Harmon's attorney later admitted he warned him about the risks of bringing the dog back. Still, Dave returned. What had once been a safe, controlled set now carried an undercurrent of fear. That incident didn't fade away quietly. It sparked a chain reaction that would tear the show's foundation apart. Right after the dog attack, Pauley Perrette demanded CBS never allow Dave near the set again. She was shaken. But when the network let the dog come back, she was furious. She responded by having a strict clause added to her season 15 contract. From that point on, she would never be in the same scene as Harmon again. For fans, it seemed like a mystery. On screen, they never appeared together. Behind the scenes, filming had to be scheduled around them. Her scenes were shot on different days, with separate crews. The production costs went up, and the entire system became harder to manage. In her final episode, watched by 15 million people, they didn't even share the same building. Editors had to stitch the episode together carefully, creating the illusion of connection where none existed. Then, in June 2019, Pauley made everything public. At 6 a.m., she posted a tweet that immediately sent shockwaves across the internet. She said she was terrified of Harmon and that she had nightmares about him attacking her. She made it clear she would never return to NCIS. Her words didn't come from a press interview or a private source. They were direct, honest, raw. The internet exploded. Entertainment websites crashed as fans tried to understand what she was saying. The image of Harmon as a calm TV father figure was suddenly shaken. He stayed silent. That silence, for many, only added weight to her words. What hadn't been known before was that Pauley had already filed 3 separate safety complaints with HR. These weren't just rumors about disagreements or salary talks. CBS later confirmed she had raised concerns over a year before she left the show. In 2018, she tweeted that she had suffered multiple physical assaults. Her posts hinted at being forced into silence and blamed a powerful machine for spreading lies about her exit. She said she felt unsafe going to work and needed therapy afterward. The fact that she filed 3 different reports shows she tried to go through the proper channels. It also suggests that CBS had multiple chances to take stronger action, but didn't. For Pauley, the workplace became something she had to escape from, not just leave behind. The most serious moment came when reports revealed she had hired a private investigator. She wasn't just venting, she was gathering proof. The investigator documented safety violations on the NCIS set, and Pauley used that evidence to press CBS into a private settlement. According to multiple sources, CBS paid her somewhere between $5 and $9 million. This wasn't about a bad script or a pay cut. It was about safety and accountability. The settlement came with a strict non-disclosure agreement, meant to bury everything.